Hi everybody, welcome to another video. So this one is about me purchasing a PCL Dropout Filter. So I did a video a little while ago which showed you my setup as far as filtering the air goes. So I'll put a link in the description so you can see that. I changed over to this about 9 months ago. The only reason I changed over really, I was quite happy with the system I had. I didn't really get any contaminants. I'd get the odd fisheye, which is a bit silicon or oil or whatever coming through the line, but it was very, very rare. So it wasn't enough to worry about at all. But I thought I'd get one of these. And the reason being that if you look at the other video, you'll see that I used two cheap filters. One was like an inline filter and the other one was like a cheaper version of the three-stage filter that you see, we'll see in a minute. And the idea of that is it just takes the impurities out before it gets to the three-stage filters, so the filters inside the three-stage filters last longer. And it just gives it, another two little barriers basically. But I used to change those probably about every 3 or 4 months from memory, something like that. And they used to cost about 20 quid for the two. So that was like 60 quid a year. Now this thing I bought from SP Supplies and it cost me £230 plus VAT. So it's quite an outlay, but it actually pays for itself within a couple of years really. All the tests I could see on YouTube, people watching this are probably doing a similar thing. You think, well, is it worth it? Does it work, etc.? So I did, the normal thing you do, look on YouTube to see what was about. And all the stuff that was there was sort of corporate stuff, if that makes sense. It was all people trying to sell you one, whereas I'm not trying to sell you one. I've bought one and I'm telling you about my experience of using one. So I've got no axe to grind. I can tell you if it works or it doesn't, but it actually works very, very well. The odd little bit of silicon or, the little fisheye I would get, and it was so rare, but I don't get anything at all anymore. So I can only put it down to this. Nothing else really has changed in my system apart from this. So to that degree, it works well. And the other reason is, as I said about it, although it's costly, it's actually a saving in theory for me once you get over a couple of years, because it's designed to last for years and years and years with absolutely no maintenance. You can get the one I've got here is an auto drain. They put like a manual drain in there as well, so I presume you can swap it over to a manual drain. But this one's an auto drain, and yeah, I haven't touched it. I've put it on and just left it. It's got, if you look on the on YouTube, you'll see a little video, and effectively there's like a little trap at the bottom, and once that fills to a certain level, it will release anything, and it just comes out the bottom. So it looks after itself completely, but it definitely works. So what I did here, we got some spraying coming up. What I did here was I thought, well, I don't really want to take it all apart. I'll take the filters out. So what we're doing is we've got a bit of footage coming up using a GTI Pro Lite with a TE10 cap for clear coat, which normally that's a base coat cap. But I took the filters out, so it's just literally running through the dropout filter straight through the three-stage filter with no filters in it, so it's not doing anything basically. And out the other side. One thing I've noticed by using this, it actually has 3/4 inch BSP connectors, so they're quite big. So I've had to buy reducers for each side to bring it down to mine, which are half inch I think from memory, half inch one. So you might have to buy a couple of other little bits with it. But one thing I've noticed is that it allows the flow of air to go through much quicker. And I think that's just because it's not going through so many filters. Because the way this works, again, if you look online, you'll see the way it works. There's like a step of 3 or 4 levels that the air goes through, and that's how it removes the contaminants. And it definitely allows it to flow better. You can get different ones. You can get quite a few different ones actually, but the ones I got from SP Supplies were, they do 3, and I chose the middle one, which is what is it, up to 32 CFM. The one below that is up to 21 CFM, and they do one up to 71 CFM, presumably for like a unit or something where the airflow is much more. And I got the bigger one, so it just means it's longer basically. It's just a little bit bigger and longer. Not much more expensive, about another 30 quid. But I got the bigger one because I did think that at some time I would get maybe more air in my system, and since then I have, because I've got 2 belt-driven compressors and they're linked together now. So my CFM, if they're both running, is like 28 CFM, so it can be quite a bit. But I've noticed that on things like the LS400 and the SATA X5500 HVLP and the SATA 5000 HVLP, you can get those a reasonably high pressure, whereas I couldn't before because there just wasn't the air in my system. It just wasn't flowing through quick enough, but I can now. So yeah, it's had a number of different knock-on effects, but it worked really well. All the knock-on effects are positive. So yeah, I'm not trying to sell you it, I'm just telling you that it is actually really good. So I'll put a link in the description as to where I bought it, and you can, you know, see it there. But as I say, yeah, thoroughly recommend it. Just a quick word on this. This is a TE10 cap, and I thought I was just doing a few panels ready to see whether there was any marks on them or whether anything got picked up. But I thought I'd get the old GTI Pro Lite out, or Pro Lite as it's called now, or Tekna Pro Lite I think as it is in the States. And I put a TE10 cap on it, which is normally a base coat cap. I do like it for base coat, but I tried it. All you see in this video is actually with a TE10 cap. But I used the dropout filter in this setup, so without the filters in my filter set, for 2 days and had absolutely no problems at all. Obviously now I've got the filters in, but and obviously since then I've had no problems anyway. But it definitely works. And what I would say, if you're and ahhing about what filter set to use at home, but you're not going to use an air-fed mask, because the idea of a 3-stage filter set is that the 3rd filter along actually purifies the air enough for a mask for you to use the mask to make the air breathable quality basically. And if you're not going to do that, then you'll get away with just using one of these. So don't buy the 3-stage filter, just buy one of these, because it really does work. You don't need anything else. Obviously you should use air-fed breathing equipment, but if you're not going to, and you know you're not going to, then one of these would actually be better than a 3-stage filter set, in my opinion, because it works just as well. Absolutely no maintenance. You won't need to change the filters. Doesn't take up as much room. Very good. Okay then guys, well I hope I haven't rambled on too much, and I hope it's been a bit of useful information. At least it's independent anyway. Cheers guys, thanks very much for watching. Cheers, bye bye.